Progress gets buried when comparison gets loud. And I had some mental struggles over the last week, and I did have to battle myself. Welcome back. And today we are diving back into AI systems and how to stay motivated as you're building and learning with this brand new breaking technology of either OpenClaw or Hermes or Hermes, whichever pronunciation you want. I'm not a designer girl, if you can't tell. I'm not up on all of the latest this one and that one brand, the Chanels and the Gucci's and this and that. That's great if you're into that. That's cool if you like that. I just don't know. I just never have taken the time to know all these things. And as I was going through and talking about Hermes, my friends stop saying Hermes. Hermes. I'm like, Hermes. Because it's a name brand purse or whatever. Okay. But it's not. For those of you that don't know, Hermes, however the fuck you want to say it, is the competitor to OpenAI's OpenClaw. And they're agents that you can download onto your computer and they can run your computer. So basically anything you can do on a computer, you can give to an agent and delegate tasks, which is a wonderful concept and sounds so great to offload all these tasks. But the hard part is you have to train these things and you have to make sure that you know what model you want them to run on. And they want to build all these sub-agents. So if you have an agent, they want to build sub-agents and they want to outsource this and outsource that. And which is great because that's the way to do it. But they can build things that you end up they just kind of misunderstand what you said and what you wanted. And before you start giving these things credit cards to go book your next vacation, you want to make sure that they are stable and understand privacy and keeping your best interest in mind and all of that. So I decided to every week come on to the YouTubes and update everyone on what I've learned. And my goal in this video is to make it as timeless as possible. Whether you're starting today or starting a year from now, you should be able to use this video to understand some very important principles as you're working through setting up AI systems, multi-agent systems. And my goal is to have a independent, as sovereign as possible AI system, multi-agent system, where I have a communication platform that is 100% mine, and where I am not reliant on OpenAI or Anthropic to run my systems. I want to be able to run my systems from my own hardware. If I have to, I have the ability, if I want to plug that in for a special project or to get something started, I can. My rule is not to ever, never use them. There are some people out there that is their rule. They're not ever going to use or send any data to these big companies. I'm not that strict. I want to use them for when it makes sense, because God knows what they're going to come up with tomorrow. A new technology could break tomorrow and I might want to use it. And I'm not saying I'm never ever going to use Anthropic or OpenAI, but I want to have a foundation of AI resources that I own and that I control. Okay. So as I've gone through this, I have struggled. I am a normal person. I'm not an IT person. I am doing this because it's important to me. I find it fascinating. I find it interesting. I am so curious. I'm nauseous sometimes because of how curious and excited I am about all of this. And my presentation today is about don't miss the miracle while building it. Progress gets buried when comparison gets loud. And I had some mental struggles over the last week, and I did have to battle myself. a little bit as I worked through some troubleshooting and some issues that I had with my agents. I thought I had progressed past a certain point and I got pulled back. So I took 2 steps forward and it felt like I was taking 3 steps back in the moment. It was really only 1 step back. Now I'm looking back on it, it wasn't as bad as I was making it out to be. But in the moment when you're defeated, it sucks. It really sucks. And so this is for someone that is in a moment where it just sucks. You don't know what to do. And I'm here to empathize with you and I'm here to let you know how I got out of it and to give you some, hopefully, motivation to just keep going. So I was frustrated by the boring work a little bit. I did not look impressive yet. Most of the work was systems cleanup. Yeah, and again, these presentations, I write notes to my AI content agent, William, and then he builds presentations. I built a presentation template using Anthropic and Perplexity. And then I gave that package. I had Perplexity and we're using Anthropic, build a package to hand off to my agent. So that's how I started, kind of leapfrogged there. But I also want to build a agent HQ. It used to be called Claw HQ, and now it's Agent HQ because I don't want to be discriminatory against Hermes, however you want to say it. Because we have Hermes now, and I did implement Hermes this week, and Hermes is really running the show now. OpenClaw had a lot of issues and was not stable and has not been stable, and it's not, I can't rely on it, unfortunately, right now. And I was really wanting to build more visuals into my Agent HQ, and that just hasn't happened yet. But there was still real progress. We had a lot of really foundational work. It felt slow, but the payoff comes later. But I did have a lot of really great progress, and I think it's very important to stop yourself and think of where you were last week. If you've been working in AI every day for 30 days, and then you look back 1 week, you'll be like, wow, it's a different universe. I'm on a totally different problem. Oh yeah, you'll start remembering all the overcomes that you had, and it does help build out morale within yourself. And I think that's one of the only ways to move forward with this, because when you do hit a wall, it is so hard to come back from in certain scenarios. And it can feel like you're in the pit and, oh my gosh, where is this? Where is that? Oh, I had that agent do this and I don't know where he put it. And then you're having to go back through. And I've been using Perplexity to help me troubleshoot. I'll let them know, okay, this is what I'm going through. This is what happened. Where do I look? Where do the file? Okay, this file. Is it this one? Is it that one? How do we rebuild this? So the comparison trap hit me mid-build, and there's a lot of flashy headlines out there. I compared my rough reps to polished wins. So some of these creators out there, they're coming out and they're showing you all their beautiful systems, which I so much appreciate everybody sharing. I really do. I'm not here to shit on anyone. I'm just really critiquing myself, if anything, and just trying to show how the sausage is made a little bit. And I was comparing myself to other people. And that made even the progress feel more like a failure. Well, it didn't progress as much as this guy. And it's like, well, he's a tech person, or he's been doing this longer, or there's so many different things. And I missed the evidence. I didn't stop and notice what I had already changed, what I'd already accomplished. And that the fact that looking back 1 year from today, if you told me that this is what I would know in 1 year, I would have been like, I don't think so. I think you got the wrong girl. I think you're talking about Rosie down the street or somebody else, but that's maybe she looks like me. I do have a lot of doppelgangers out there. My grandpa was didn't know how to keep his horse in his barn, let's say. And I do have a lot of cousins and aunts and second cousins and families. I found 7 different families my grandfather had all over the world. So, yeah, there are some other people that look like me out there, but yeah, you must not be talking about me. That's what I would have told you. But here I am doing this. It's really crazy. So I do have to go back to that and have to remind myself of these things. Then I ask, what can I do now? Okay, I'm frustrated. I've tried this, I've tried that. It's not a typo, it's not a this. And sometimes it's just to walk away, sleep on it, and wake up the next day. Sometimes that's the answer. And that's usually that's what ended up happening. There's only so much I could do. I would work on it all day. I had a couple of days like that where I just work on it, work on it. And then at night, I would watch philosophical videos or watch a stupid movie. And then my brain would just naturally start thinking about the problem, and I'd start Googling or watching someone else and seeing if I had any mindset shifts, if I had any thoughts that were coming from a different angle than the way that I had originally approached the problem. All right. So progress looks slow until you look back. Reflections help people learn from what they already did. And research shows it is especially useful near the beginning of the learning curve. That is exactly when progress is easiest to miss. Okay, so look back checkpoints yesterday 35%, last week 64%, and last month 88%. The boring parts are the busiest. So systems, repeatable workflows are what make good days repeatable. Yeah, and in the beginning that's the hard part is there's very few repeatable workflows in the beginning because you have to train the agent on how your workflows flow and how your work flows. And I have found that I've set up some systems and whatever changes, there's something changes and then it breaks and maybe I didn't realize it broke or we don't know what part broke and going back and trying to figure out how to get it back up and running. Okay. And I do have some other videos on this. It's funny, but when I was having problems with William, I'll give this example. William was emailing me, or he's still emailing me every morning a CRM update because William is in charge of building out a CRM. That's one of my goals is build out my own CRM. And William doesn't handle any personal data. He doesn't handle any sensitive data. He's just building out a system. Okay. And it's a beautiful email. And I would show it to you, but it's specific to what I've got going on. It's not a secure thing for me to share, but he sent a link and all sorts of stuff and let me know what got updated and what features I liked, which ones I didn't. And then I went back and I said, hey, I didn't get because he was emailing me beautiful HTML on a regular basis or every time I'd ask him, and he didn't have any problems with that. And then all of a sudden he's telling me he doesn't know how to email. As I was like, hey, I didn't get my HTML presentation like we did yesterday or the day before or last week. I think it was I was running that one on a weekly basis. I've got it daily now so I can catch if anything messes up again. That's more why I have the engine running more because I'm like, I'd rather have 7 presentations and only use one than have him like relying on one presentation and him not send it to me. Have my day disrupted because my agent didn't make me my thing for my YouTube. Oh, so anyway, I go back to William. I'm like, hey, William, I didn't get that email. Can you please send it? And I don't know how to send emails. I'm like, what are you talking about? You sent an email this morning on the CRM. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, I see what you're talking about. The thing, let's fix now. Everything, the engine's back up and running. It'll send out tomorrow. So when that happened, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's send it tomorrow. And I moved on. I went on to, because to me, getting my presentation for YouTube this is not my number one priority in my life. Okay, this YouTube channel. So I said, fine, tomorrow. So I wake up the next morning. I worked on other things, wake up the next morning, still no email. Hey, William, still, I didn't get that email. And I got the CRM email. I got the beautiful CRM, same, it's beautiful. And he's, yeah, I don't know how to email. Again, yesterday and this morning, you said the same thing, this and that. And he was just, so then I started being like, would you send it to me now? Send it to me now. I want to see a test. And then it was just looping, trying to figure out what the hell was like, how is this possible? So I did use Perplexity, fought through, it was like a 2 or 3 day battle with William. And I'll have more on that later. And we'll talk about more agent drama presentation that I'm going to be doing. So stay tuned for that if you like soap operas and that sort of thing. All right. So the boring parts are important. Okay. Systems, testing, and maintenance. You do have to slow down. So my tendency is I want to go right to the finish line, have it done. I have an idea. I see it in my head. I think if I just explain it, I think everybody should be able to see it. And it's just not the case. Most people have no idea what I'm talking about. When I have a vision and I see something in the future and I try to explain it, most people don't get it right out of the gate. A lot of people need visuals and writing and auditory. There's all these different learning things. And also, it's probably me. It's probably I'm just not explaining it great. And so I'm in there with the AI. I think I explained it great. I think I was thorough, but they miss stuff sometimes. And then you go back and you're like, you have to reiterate. And you also have to let it know how serious you were sometimes, it seems. So anyway, my standard autonomy over convenience. Okay, so that's why I want to remain autonomous. I really would rather have it owned by me than giving my information and all my thoughts to another company. So convenience says what's easy right now. What's the easy thing to do? Set up an agent and give it an API key to Anthropic or OpenAI. And to be honest with you, that is going to be the best place to start. I think everybody should start there, expect to spend money doing that, and start with that. And as you move through this thing and understand how to use it and where to update API keys, and you learn more about open source and open models versus closed systems, and is it on a cloud? Is it local? And really figure out what you want. And maybe you want to use all of it. That's where I'm at. I kind of have access to all of it. And then I'm cherry picking okay, this kind of data doesn't go over here. It goes over here. And this kind of information, no. You don't send that kind of information over here. You have to send it out because I don't want to burn up my memory, my room for all that stupid stuff. You can do that over here on the cloud, all the things that aren't sensitive. And I'll go over more of that later. But my point is, when thinking long term, I have been trying to think more long term. But in the beginning, I had to just get started. Okay, I just had to find the Mac Mini. Finding the Mac Mini was hard. And I ended up I'm just buying a new one. Because I went a couple of weeks, I think a month, just looking, had a bot checking. And of course, everybody does for refurbished ones or on eBay or on OfferUp. And they were just selling. I couldn't get one. So I'm like, you know what? Best Buy. I went to Best Buy. I think they did have it was like an open box one. I ended up getting my hands on it. I did get like $100 off or something. But I ended up just buying it brand new. It's like, all right, bite the bullet. It's my birthday. I bought it on my birthday, March 26th. And a couple of days later, unboxed it, and it was like sweating bullets. I'm like, okay, Alex Finn, fallen Alex Finn. I'm like, he said, okay, guys, all right. I know this is super hard. You guys are getting really techy here, but just open your terminal and copy and paste this command. That's it. You just downloaded OpenClaw, and it's, oh shit, all that anticipation, and it's one command. But then all the magic starts after that, or all the struggle. Why starting over was sometimes the right move. So a reset is not always a loss. Sometimes restarting is how you bring your build back to your values. Yeah, there was a rebuild with William and Jason J, which were two agents that I created on Claw. And I ended up migrating those over to Hermes or Hermes. And I have another video on that. I'll give you, that's more my soap opera video on the drama that unfolded with all of that. I think it's funny. I think it's interesting. But a reset, it was not a loss. Everything seems to be working better. We will see. I'm having issues with emails right now. It seems, and I know I've heard of people talk about this, but agents don't work too well with email systems that were built for humans. Seems as though there are different email systems that are agent specific, and I'm definitely going to look into that because I've been fighting with my agents over emails because I like getting emails. I just do. I live in my inbox. My inbox is like, I don't know, maybe I'll get rid of it one day, but I just always have it open. I'm just always scanning it, checking. So I do want to get emails from my agents. I just do. It's a trigger for me. But I did have to reset that. And I also had to reset my build with CRM. I'm building my own custom CRM. And so I wanted two agents working on it so they can double check each other's work. And my original idea was, okay, I'll have Claw doing this, and then I'll have Hermes checking its work, or they can collaborate. It's not that one's allowed to delegate to the other, it's that they're supposed to be sharpening each other's coding. And that was working really well for a day before it broke. And I don't think it was my fault. I think, again, I'll go over the postmortem with you guys in a different video. So we're going to stick to mindset here. Clarity beats momentum. Wrong speed still takes you in the wrong direction. Yeah, just there's been points where I just lose my patience. My mental capacity gets full. I get impatient. I'm usually a pretty patient person. But I do get to a point where I'm just like, F it. I just give it to me now. And there have been kind of some funny moments in the last week where I did have to get angry, and expressing some of those emotions to the agents did help. But anyway, if I would have been more clear in the beginning, I'd probably be farther along, but I felt like I was clear. I felt like I was really clear. And I felt like I've taken my time throughout all this. And so when I hit this most recent wall where it felt like everything was broken, I was like, "Arr!" But I was really happy that I wrote it all out, and I have different places that those notes are so that I could pull them again. So I don't have to rewrite everything. So if you have SOPs, or if you want to, it'd be a great idea for you if you want to, let's say, offload a task, like a 3-step process to an agent, just write it out. Say, this is how I do it. I click on this website, then I go here, then I go there, then I do this, then I do that. How can you help me with this? So just starting to write out your standard operating procedures, even if it's not for your business, just for whatever it is that you want to outsource. Okay. And see what it can do. And doing that has been very helpful, and having it written somewhere outside of your agent system. Because if you ever get locked out of your agent system, or your agent system fails and you need to rebuild, at least you have those documents that you can, that work that you've already done, to get you back up and running faster. This tech changes the rules of work. This is not a small tool upgrade, it is a new operating layer. That's what I've come to understand. And that is why early work feels uneven. One day I had the most productive day ever. I did a year's worth of work in one morning. And that's the day I got addicted, I guess would be or inspired or got a fire lit under my ass about all this. And these new layers start messy before they start feeling normal. And I don't know that it feels normal yet because I feel that I'm still building my foundation in all of this. And I am trying to take my time and I am trying to make it modular where, okay, this over here, this is marketing. And let's build out some systems around that, like the content engine, the thing that's making these presentations for me every week and researching different things for me every week. And then I have a crypto council. That one I have to follow up on. And I think that one will be really fun for us to watch. So I've rebuilt several times this crypto council, and they all have different models and they all have different personas. And they're each supposed to go out and research what their best cryptos are. And then I want to set up debates. I think it's going to be really fun to watch. Oh, so great. And then one of the other things I want to play with is Midnight with the Cardano kind of offshoot project where they have this same idea. The agents, they live inside of a universe or it's like a game, like a video game. And they can get married, they can date, they can vote for stuff and go to jail. I don't know. I haven't been able to get in there. That's one of the whole reasons why I'm doing this AI thing is to be able to like get in there and understand, have somebody help me understand these systems and get in there and use them. And I just haven't gotten to that point yet, but I can't wait. I can't wait. I think it'll be very interesting. Okay. If a human can do it, an agent can learn it. So observe, work can be mapped. Like I said, write it out step by step, what you do on your computer, and then give it to your Claw or your Hermes, and they will let you know how they can automate it or what parts of it can get automated and make the tasks repeatable. And I started out with once a week. Part of the reason why I did once a week was because that's what Claw recommended. And that's kind of like the way it guided me was to do once a week. And now that I look back, I wish I would have done it daily because in the beginning, you almost need the patterns going faster so you can catch the problem sooner, if that makes sense. As you grow, you may like, okay, this thing that you've been running every day, you realize, I only need it every other day now because I want to use that space or that work slot, that amount of work that agent is doing for that engine. I want to allocate those resources somewhere else. And those decisions can be made, but I don't know. I wish I would have started out with once a day. Compound small wins turn into leverage over time. The biggest mistake, judging early drafts too harshly. Rough outputs is a part of the process, and harsh judgment kills reps before skills can compound. So, yeah, when you build your first communication system with your agents, don't expect it to be amazing right out of the box. Don't expect every feature to work perfectly. Keep prompting your agent to continue to fix what isn't working, or if they said that they implemented a feature and you're like, you kind of did, but it's not exactly like what I asked for, keep on them about updating it or changing it. and have patience. And I think one of the things that really helped me have patience with onboarding these agents is my experience with onboarding and employees and HR. Is when you hire a new employee, you cannot expect them to know everything they need to know one day after you hire them. You have a onboarding process and a training process, and you expect them to be able to do X, Y, or Z after 30 days, and then ABC after 90 days. There are things that they will have to learn about your company and the systems within your company before they can even get any work done and be productive. And they'll, in fact, be a drain on you if you're training them. It will take away from your own productivity for some time before that employee starts paying off. And so that's my mindset going into this. I think of these agents similar to how I would onboard a employee. Gratitude can turn progress into fuel. I have found, like, when I'm in my pity pot and I'm going like, oh, I can't believe that didn't work, or stupid agent, or stupid thing. I stopped and I'm like, you know how weenie you sound? It sounds so, ugh. I just did not like the way it sounded. So look at what you can do now. Look what you could do a year from ago, and look what you can do now. Melissa 1 year ago would have killed to be able to do what you are doing right now. You would have been so excited. Now I'm like, this is so stupid. This thing's not working, and William's stupid, and Hermes is stupid, and Claw's stupid. Can just get so negative. So negative. So when you find yourself getting negative, try to be grateful for what you have. So I'm grateful I had the finances to be able to buy my own Mac Mini. I am grateful that I had the finances to be able to buy an A6 GX10. And I am grateful that I had an extra laptop lying around that I could use. And I'm grateful I had an extra gaming computer I had just sitting around because I knew I was going to use it one day. I was like, I know I'm going to need this. I'm just going to do the warranty and get it fixed and then buy a new this and buy a new that, because I knew this AI thing was coming. And I'm grateful that I saw this coming and did some preparation. I didn't do as much as I wish looking back, I would have done. If I would have known what I know now 10 years ago, I would have done more to prepare, but nobody knew. Who would have known? So obviously I'm not going to get down on myself about that. So just being grateful, okay? And build your own way and keep going. So the whole reason I'm doing this is because I don't like a lot of the software that's out there today. I just don't. Call me a princess. I even said that to my AI. I was like, am I being a princess right now? And they're like, of course your AI will agree with you. And that's one of the problems that they're seeing right now with these agents, is they have a bias to be too agreeable. Anyway, that would be another video, so I'm not going to sideline us on that. But the whole reason why I'm doing this is to build my own stuff, right? So build your own way, keep going, and thank you for hanging out to the end. Share this with somebody, make a comment, subscribe, hype, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.